Hey, what up? This is Mr. Trigger coming to you from Skid Row Tattoo in downtown Los Angeles. I'm going to be bringing you on tattoo stories from some of the sickest artists in the game, brought to you from Sanction TV and Maker Studio. Each week, we're going to show you these artists' best ink on celebrity clientele, all the way to homies in the hood.
Has left me and I desperate now approve.
My name's Shawn Barber, living in Los Angeles about 5 years now. My girlfriend Kim Say and I, we opened this place about 4 years ago. Grew up in central New York, Syracuse area. Lived there from like 1970 to 94. We went to a little private school in upstate New York, Casanova College for a couple years, and then went to South Florida, Sarasota, to art school there, Reading School of Art. And then I started, got out of school. I was like, all right, I'm 29, like, worked in a bunch of restaurants, worked construction, worked all different kinds of jobs, worked in a factory for a couple years, 11 to 7 shift for 2.5 years. I think that kind of dictated my body clock. I'm still on that, you know, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Like, I don't want to get a job for somebody. I want to be self-employed. Like, I just want to do my own thing. So I pursued illustration. Out of college, I was doing editorial stuff, mostly political magazines, hip-hop magazines, music magazines. I think I did the first illustrated cover of The Source in like 2001, Portrait DMX. So I did that and I started teaching. I was teaching summer school as well. Made the choice to move to San Francisco in 2003 maybe. Went out there to be part of the art scene. Started showing at the shooting gallery, shared a studio upstairs at White Walls with Henry Lewis and some other artists. And at that point, Henry encouraged me to get into tattoos. I had been starting to paint a lot of artists that were tattooed, and at that time, White Walls Shooting Gallery were connected, so there was a lot of artists coming through and meeting all these just amazing creative people, and it was exciting. And Mike was working for a friend, painter Mike Davis, who he's like, you know, Mike, like, this guy wants to learn to tattoo. Would you be an apprentice with him? So we went there, and it was difficult at first. I was teaching at CCA. I'd been painting for 15 years. I was like a professional artist before I even considered doing tattoos. You know, you bring a certain skill set to it, but there's also the intimidation of the medium because it is deliberate, and every mark you put down on a person is there. I went from being like a really technical, deliberate, like draftsman to being a really loose painter. Did that for a long time, and then getting into tattooing, I went from like a loose-handed painter to having to force yourself to be more deliberate tattooer. As you put a mark down, it's there. You can't just do a thing. It'll make a mark, but it's not the same thing. The skin isn't a canvas. Well, painters work in isolation. You know, most painters I know, I mean, they're active in their communities with their other artist friends, but they're pretty isolated. They kind of just do their thing, and that's it, you know. Tattooing, you're not only dealing with the people you're working around, but you're dealing with a customer whose time they're paying for you to be there at that time frame and make something that they have to live with forever. I think a lot different tattooers set up their working life where they can control all of it, or they can control very little of it. You know, if you're a walk-in tattoo shop guy, where the customers are just bringing you a thing or they're picking something off the wall, it's more of a service, and you're, I think, hopefully more of a craftsman who's giving this service to the public. Whereas somebody who's custom drawing something for, you know, someone who has an idea but they can't put it into images, you know, you're doing that for them. Or you're a specialist, like I think in tattoo there's a lot of specialists, where I just do black and gray, or I just do color realism, or I just do Japanese tattoos. So you're known for that style of tattooing, and you've already created a body of work and audience where people know that that's what you do, and they're coming to you for what you do. I still paint, often. I don't paint every day like I was, but I also haven't had a solo show in a year and a half. You know, so on purpose, because I want to get better at tattooing. The only way to get better is to dedicate that mental energy and the physical energy to it. You know? An apprenticeship in tattooing is an ideal situation. You know, most people don't get that opportunity. I think to go through it, in the worst cases, it gives you a little insight onto what you're dealing with. In the best cases, you get an education, history, you get an education on how to use your tools, how to deal with a customer, and how to make something nice for somebody. You know, without that, you're either going to stumble through it or fuck a lot of people up, or be self-involved and not really care about the people you're working on. You know, by getting an apprenticeship or having a mentor, you potentially have somebody who, whether you like the way they go about getting you through this, it's a learning process, and they're trying to teach you how to fucking be an adult, how to be somebody who can take care of themselves, you know? So it's important.